welcome to another episode of the Made Musings podcast. That podcast where we talk about different disabilities and everyday issues. And today I'm joined by a special lady. Her name is Amita, Shama, and we're going to talk about that issue that concerns women again. Yes, it is about women. So, Amita, welcome to the Made Musings podcast.
Thank you so much. I'm super excited. I love the work you're doing.
Brilliant, thank you. We're going to talk about that perimenopause issue and how it affected you and also what you're doing in that space. So tell us about your experience, really.
What I want to understand, for women to understand, is when they're going through perimenopause, which is the years before they hit menopause, we really don't pay attention as women, including me. Right? But we start noticing these changes in our body, and it actually starts to engulf your entire life. And you're working, in my case, I started getting all these strange symptoms while I was working, the sleep at night, the night sweats, the hot flashes in the, during the meetings, brain fog. I couldn't even think clearly my production, I was like, oh my God, what happened? It's like, all these things, right, started happening to me, and I was clueless. I was so miserable that I didn't want to go into a medication of anxiety, depression, but what the heck I'm supposed to do? And I didn't get any help. And that's the journey that slowly started for me, going into how can I fix myself, right? I started looking into holistic lifestyle, holistic therapies, and changing my diet and exercise. And that whole journey was not 1 year, that journey was about 10 years. And finally, it has led to what I'm trying to do is that open up the dialogue, open up the discussion, the open communication for women to acknowledge at least that, things are going to change. There's nothing wrong with it. You're beautiful at any age, but hey, take care of your changing body and adjust your life accordingly. That really is the message I want to give. I have done that. I had to, but most of the women don't.
Oh, thank you so much. Yes, your holistic platform is all about creating awareness about menopause and how women can help themselves. And because it's affected you as a woman in corporate America, and women all over the world, these symptoms, it's just the similar symptoms that they experience, because I share with my friends and it's similar. And they're like, oh, I'm sweating at night. I can't sleep. I've got anxiety issues. And these things are, employers also need to understand that this is how this affects us. So I'm really glad that you're taking the bold step to start doing something in that space, really, and you're encouraging employers also to do things about it. But in your experience, could you give us some of the symptoms, of the symptoms that women really experience when it gets to that menopause stage?
Absolutely. So there are over 35 plus symptoms, right, that are associated with the whole journey. And mind you, the symptoms can be different. So first of all, before I go into the symptoms, I want women to understand 3 distinct stages, right? The first is the perimenopause, and the symptoms could be completely different because in the beginning, you still have your hormones, but they're fluctuating. So you're going to get mood swings. You're going to get all kind of maybe hair thinning. Then maybe your skin starts erupting, right? And I talked about the hot flashes, night sweats, sleep, anxiety, brain fog. All these things start. It's scary, but it starts happening to you. Not everything together, but hey, for me, it was like 5-6 things. So it wasn't bad. And then when you move to the next stage, menopause and postmenopause, you're technically postmenopausal, then the symptoms could be different. It is more like chronic condition. You could be pre-diabetic, right? You could be on the verge of osteoporosis, which you don't know because you're losing bone mass, right? As you grow older, then you could also the memory issues could also be leading to early sign of dementia. You could also have some kind of a women-related cancer like breast and vaginal and all those things. Weight gain is such a common symptom for women. Bloating, that's not good either. So there are, what I'm saying is, if you're perimenopausal, the symptoms are a bit different. But if you're postmenopausal, the more thing is more about the chronic condition, preventing and managing. And anxiety and depression is constant towards both stages. So, and the data talks about 80% of the women over 55 have one chronic condition. That's what I want women to understand. And the other thing that can also happen is loss of libido. We don't want to talk about sexual health at all. We are scared. We're so scared that somebody's going to, God knows, do something to us. Mm-hmm. But that can also create issues with your partner, lack of communication. And then there is a data that talks about 60% of the women in UK and US who go through the divorce are in this perimenopausal, menopausal stage. It's great divorce. It's rising. And I'm sure menopause is one of the reasons, that is the culprit. So it's not just the physical symptoms is what I'm trying to make sure women understand. It's the physical, the mental, your relationships with your spouse, partner, or even others. Everything can get impacted, and you better make sure that you start paying attention.
Oh, yes. I appreciate that. I mean, it's so important that people are able to express themselves to their partners, to explain what they're going through. I mean, considering the fact that 1.1 billion women are going to be menopausal or perimenopausal by 2025. That's a great number of women.
But you know what? They only count the menopausal, the perimenopause. The scary part is, and that's what I want women to understand, it can start as early as late 30s. Yeah. And they have counted the number of women who are perimenopausal. That's like almost 10, 12 years before woman gets menopausal, which is age of 52, somewhere around that.
And how do we talk about these sexual aspects of menopausal and being perimenopausal? I won't just combine the two because of time, really. Being menopausal and being perimenopausal, they are two different things, but sometimes it's just the way it affects your sexual health, your mental health, just like you said before. So how do we tackle the issue of talking about it with the partners, with the employers, with family, with friends? I'm like, oh my God, I can't go out. I mean, going out, I don't want to be, and to talk to anybody.
No, you don't want to be announcing to the world that this is what's
and people
going on.
Don't understand that sometimes,
Yes. So you need safe space, right? Honestly, I'm the same way. I never went and talked about my problems to anyone. I was very kind of guarding my problems to myself.
Yeah.
Right? Because you don't want people to judge you at workplace. You don't want people to think that you cannot do your work, right? If you're perimenopausal. Then you also don't want your family to think that something is going wrong with you and that is unexplainable. But on the other hand, women need to talk to safe spaces. They need to vent. They need to kind of talk about it so that they can start taking measures towards their own self-help and self-care and seek the help what they need. It's important. So I think you need safe spaces initially. You might not feel comfortable talking to your partner, but you have to bring this up that the menopause is bringing all these hormone fluctuations, and that's impacting all these things, and there's nothing wrong with it. Maybe your spouse or partner needs to understand this, right? Because you are in it together.
Of course you are. Yeah. I mean, some marriages, I do know. I have friends that have said their relationship being affected by menopause, and I have friends that a guy that I work with, and he was talking about his partner being perimenopausal, and he was explaining this to me. I'm like, oh my God, I'm so impressed. I understand all this as it affects partners, it says, oh my God, she's having a meltdown. I'm so cold on the outside, and she's saying, no, I'm boiling. So they have to about what they do in the bedroom, about how maybe they have the windows open at night or before she comes to the bed, things like that. Those are little things that partners can to adjust for being menopausal or being perimenopausal. And then going on to your platform, what has been the greatest impact that you've felt that you've been making in this field?
Yeah, because, I felt that the society, I talked to about 3,000 women all around the world, right? 3,000 experts. And I felt no matter where you are, which part of the world, women feel the same. They think that this topic is taboo, not being talked about, underserved, under-researched, and not really put into sort of like a systematic way, the structured way, right? So I'm not saying nobody else is talking about menopause. We have come a long way. But most of the options that are available are all medical, like it's HRT, right? Okay, especially in UK, that they encourage women to go to HRT or BHRT, there is nothing wrong with it. But medication, no medication, it doesn't matter. If you don't fix your lifestyle, you're still going to have issues, some kind of issues, right? So the platform, what we thought has to be, in a way, step number one, awareness, education. What is lying ahead? What can you expect? What would happen? And then the step two is, okay, using of these simple lifestyle holistic therapies, evidence-based, how can you start making changes to your diet, to your exercise, and use some of the toolkit that all these holistic therapies have to start taking care of yourself. So that's what really the platform is all about, is first step, self-care. And then the second step, if you need like an expert, if you want to go to the expert, we have a network of vetted experts from naturopathic doctors to MD, functional medicine doctor to dietitians and all kind of experts that you can engage in and start going to a lifestyle that is healthy as you age and as you go towards the postmenopausal years of your life.
Oh, thank you so much for that. Yes, it is so important to be able to highlight what to do and when to take the actions, So that's really one thing I love about your platform. And I really appreciate you opening up with that as well and providing a safe space. Yes, not just a space, it's a safe space for women to talk about how they're feeling, how things are going with them. So we just need to have that safe space. As I keep saying, employers, corporate organizations, and corporate environment also need to have these safe spaces. I was talking to somebody yesterday and she said, well, they're thinking of providing products that they can present to employers that, okay, you can have this at a discount or adjustments that employers need to make in their workspaces, like maybe getting air conditions in some hot countries, having a cooler office, even when it is cold.
Especially in UK, it's so cold and women are feeling
cold. Yes, now I have a hot water bottle right here. So, yeah. To keep me warm. For people, sometimes when you are menopausal, at night you'll be sweating. So if you have to work at night, you're sweating and all your clothes you're sweating and stinking. So those are things that organizations, I feel, need to make adjustment for. My next question will be your involvement with the corporate organizations and that aspect. What impact are you making in that area?
Yeah, absolutely. See, this whole awareness and basically implementation and what you call it, what are the next steps? It has to be emphasized at everywhere where women congregate, right? Think about it. Where do you go? In a group. So you go to your medical physician, you go to work, you go to some community, faith organizations, or your family or friends, right? That is just what happens. And it has to happen at every level, especially at the corporate level. Now that we know on the 50% of the women, corporate level, about 50% of women, and on top of that, especially in UK, right? There are more women, the rise of percentage of women who are in menopause and working is growing everywhere in UK and in United States. More, right? So they're not retiring. So now you have your 50% of the workforce, which is going through perimenopause, excuse me. Right? And you're not paying attention. So as a corporate, what is going to happen? We talked about all the other things, the productivity, they're having all these symptoms. So I think it makes a lot of business sense is what I'm saying for these corporates to really incorporate this segment of their workforce and cater to them in a way that is productive, and that is the health equity. It's not just one thing, it's inclusivity. It's all the DEI all the way, right? And it's going to start happening. It's just beginning to happen because people don't understand. That's a problem. And we are still at the beginning of this whole movement, is how I call it, right? That because we are all educated women who are still working, who don't want to retire, but we want society to understand what is it that we are going through and at least give us the tools at the community level.
Thank you so much. Yes. We just want to feel comfortable anywhere we are. It's like when you have a child and you have to breastfeed in the society, you have to be able to feel that you can do it safely without exposing yourself as well. Those are things. Women have so many issues.
Yeah, but look where we have come so far, helping women who are pregnant during their fertility year. I should say that as a society, we've come so far to help that women navigate the fertility year ease and with not so embarrassment even after the pregnancy, giving women the safe space to breastfeed or do whatever, right? But now after that, we stop. We completely stop, right? Because so that's what we are trying to bring.
Thank you. Yeah, so on my next question, you just brought that on now. We told this. So could you give me some of the practical guides for women, middle-aged women, I mean, any woman when navigating this menopausal, premenopausal stage in their life? What are the practical steps they can take to help themselves, really?
Yeah, so some of the practical tips women should understand when their hormones are fluctuating, they need to make sure the hormones are in balance, right? Oftentimes the hormones will go out of balance, and that's what the whole thing starts. So some practical tips is you need to change your diet. You need to convert yourself more on the plant-based diet. I'm not saying don't eat meat. Protein comes from chicken and fish. Avoid the red meat and avoid all the processed foods completely if you can. And then you have to start taking some exercise into your routine, because what I was talking about, the osteoporosis and the bone mass going down, you need weight-bearing exercises, strengthening exercises, different type of exercises. Just because you're doing running around aerobics like we used to when we are in our 20s, that thing has to change. Incorporating a rainbow diet, plant-based rainbow diet, including all the taste. Ayurveda talks about 6 tastes, like sour, salty, pungent, astringent, right? All these tastes in your meals, and also including all the macronutrients in your meals, like protein, carb, and healthy fats. Very important. Most of the time when we start putting on weight, we, as women, we start dieting and we start eating less. That's completely wrong. You need to nourish your body so that you can last on the postmenopausal years, which I was talking about. So all these changes have to have happened, and understanding your body and changing your diet accordingly, what is happening, right? And then I talked about the exercise, and then it's also very, very important to reduce the stress in your life, whether you need to do meditation, your breathing exercises, your yoga, your qigong. You need to include some kind of a relaxation therapy, whatever relaxes you, whether it's journal writing or music, dance. That is very, very important to include some me time and include some relaxation, because the stress, the cortisol hormones and the stress is going to exacerbate all your symptoms that we talked about earlier, right? And then the sleep. Sleep is very important. Women need to get 7 to 8 hours of good sleep. Most of us can't sleep through the night. It becomes very, very difficult. So at night also you need to have some kind of a routine so that you calm yourself. You know, it could be relaxation exercise at night. Like I said earlier, you can use aromatherapy, some of the essential oils to calm yourself during the day or at night. Even simple like self-massaging yourself can also help to calm your nerves. I do that every single day. And then also having some kind of a daily routine. You can include some of the teas that are calming teas, right, in your morning routine, evening routine, and give yourself enough energy. Eat nutrient-dense foods. So there's so many things women can do. These are not that difficult to do, but you need to go step by step to start incorporating all these things in your daily routine, one by one. And that's exactly what we are trying to do at Nourish Talk, is to help women incorporate all these habits slowly, one by one, so that they can start living a health lifestyle that is part of their daily routine.
Oh, thank you so much. I love that in you. You've talked about it in different stages, like the self, and all of it is just self-care, really, self-care,
Yes.
self-love, dance, routine, whatever works for you. You have to understand your body, your diet, and anything that would help you, anything that would take out the anxiety and the stress and reduce all the sweat and the hormonal imbalances. Those are the things that you just need to inculcate into your diet, into your daily routine, and just not all at once, but maybe slowly, and then gradually you inculcate everything, and then you become more healthy, more agile, or more physically attractive even to your partner. I mean, really. So thank you so much. And where can listeners connect with you, and how do they connect with you, really?
Yeah, so right now people can go to our website, www.nourishtalk.com. We are coming up with an app in February-March timeframe where I would love to inform you at that time, so you can share with your
when this podcast will be released. So that's
okay, that's good. That's a perfect timing then.
Yeah.
And women can get in touch with us and embark on a journey for self-love, self-care, reinventing themselves and recharging.
Oh, brilliant. Thank you so much for time and for joining us today. And it's just brilliant having you, and you've been such a great source of information and encouragement to women. I would encourage everyone to please connect with them, perimenopausal or not. It is always, perimenopausal, premenopausal, pausal, anyone.
Any puzzle.
We are all women, and we need to just help ourselves, really. So thank you so much, Angie, and it's been wonderful having you. Thank you, and have a great rest of the day. So this podcast will be broadcast on our podcast platforms. Please subscribe and follow us. We are on Apple, Good Pods, Podlink, everywhere we are, and Spotify. So thank you so much again. Thank you. Bye. God bless.
A big thank you to all our listeners who have been sending us messages through the message link. I would like to thank everyone who has listened in so far and contributed to this podcast. Thank you so much. We couldn't have done anything without you. Keep listening, keep sharing, keep downloading, and keep liking. Thank you again.